Assalamu alaikum and welcome. With me in studio is Major General Max Masha. He's the District Commissioner. We're going to be talking about the launch of a new operation and other crime-related discussions during this interview. Major General, thank you so much for your time and welcome to Radio Islam International.
Thank you, and it's my pleasure to be here.
All right, so first things first, this operation O Kae Molao. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but tell us about it.
O Kae Molao.
O Kae Molao. What does it mean?
It means where is the law?
Okay.
It means the community is questioning, and I know some people still are, where are the police when things are happening? And we then decided we need to be more visible, because your normal operation where, for example, the station is using about 2 vehicles for lanes, they may not be visible. So then with the Operation O Kae Molao, then we bring more resources into the area so that we can be visible to tell the community, we are still here for you. You still can call us. You can still rely on us. And we are here to ensure people are and feel safe.
Why would a station like Lance only have 2 vehicles? Many would wonder.
Yes. It's not that they have 2 vehicles. No, they actually have... in fact, this morning when I went through my report, they got 38, if I'm not sure. Yeah. So they have, according to our own setup of resources, they have their resources. It's just that in the you remember, you have detectives, you've got support, you've got various what, but you find that now in the CSC where they are attending to complaints, sometimes they'll tell you, there are 2 vans because maybe the other 2 are in garage or something like that. Exactly, But in total, no, they got more than, they don't have 2, they have more. So other vehicles are there, but they're not visible. In other words, like your detectives, they are unmarked, so people won't see them, that they are moving around. And then your other marked vehicles, they are also there, but they're not necessarily attending to your complaints, because we have various functions in the police station that must be done. But ideally, I think they have 4 sectors. We're supposed to have 8 vehicles, because it's two vehicles per sector. The reason why we're having a challenge with that is... unfortunately, still have to work on our cars in the garage. Our cars are there on paper, but then they are there being fixed.
So coming back to the launch of this operation, what's the plan in terms of increased visibility of police?
Yeah, is that if there are area station commanders having a problem that he ordinarily would not do because he needed more resources, we are here for him. For example, if there are illegal shebeens, if there are drug dealers, if there are, a concentration of crime in a particular spot, we want to deal with it. And where possible, we want to arrest the criminals.
So basically, this operation means that you're going to try and allocate adequate resources within the district so that police could be more visible.
Absolutely.
What about your report or your assessment in terms of what are the main areas of challenge that SAPS is facing currently in the district? What would your assessment be of that?
In Lens or in the district?
Well, let's start with Lens specifically.
With Lens, okay. Yeah, in terms of violent crimes, I must say Lahai is our challenge. Yeah, we really need to double our game there in Lahai. People, they assault each other, murders are taking place there. You come to Lens proper, you are challenged here, people complain about carjacking, drugs, and all those other challenges. Those are our main challenges. And then theft of motor vehicle, theft out of motor vehicle, those are the challenge in Lens proper, and your common robberies as well.
Have there been successes of late in Lens that you can share with us?
Yeah, we have. Of late, for example, here in front of me, we made, in terms of drug arrests, we made 75 drug arrests. Included here is your users as well as your drug dealers inside. It's one thing that we are working on, and we need the community to cooperate with us. Because some of these drug dealers, what they do is they don't hide the drugs in their own premises. They hide it somewhere else. So somebody give us a call and say, so-and-so is dealing with drugs. We go there, we search for the drugs, and the drugs are not there. So then it means if somebody informs us, they must, as far as possible, of course we have our own intelligence, we must try to get the information, but the community, they are our source. They must tell us also, where does this guy hide the drugs? Because once you have that information, when you go out, then our operation will be successful. But if you just tell us, Abdul is dealing with drugs, I'm just making an example, we go there, search by his house, sometimes because it's not in the premises, may come back empty-handed. And some people may feel like, the police, they went there, they did nothing, Abdul paid them. It's not true. Abdul did not pay the police. Abdul does not keep the drugs with him. So whoever gives us the information, if possible, must try to give us more so that we know when you go there, we can hit the right spot.
One is, crime that affects an individual or that family in particular. So someone breaks into your home, a home invasion, someone steals your car. And then there are other forms of crime that kind of like affects the entire community. If cables are stolen, as an example, then there's an electricity outage across the entire town or, beyond that town, surrounding towns as well. I know of late there have been some operations and some successes. Cable theft, all those things associated with electricity, theft and vandalism, sabotage as well in that regard. How rife is that in Lenasia and surrounds, and then what has been the police's approach?
Yeah, it has been a challenge, but on average, I can assure people of Lens you are not worse off. There are people who are facing more challenges than you, but challenges are taking place. That is why we're having regular operations in Lens to deal with those issues of cable thefts and other crimes in the area. So we ideally we want to come to a stage where people really feel safe. And they feel safe because there's little or no crime at all. Unfortunately, at this stage, I can't say that, especially if you come to crimes like robberies and common robberies and assault. But in terms of cable thefts and all that, they are taking place. But I must say, in this area, they are not a huge problem.
On Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I think 3 days consecutively, there was a power outage. Most of Lenasia, Eldorado Park, Nansfield, all those areas were affected. Yesterday, City Power came out and said that it's as a result of illegal fault fires close to the electricity towers and equipment, and that is what is causing the tripping. And then it takes them a couple of hours to get everything up and running, and then people don't have lights. Is there a role that the police can play in something like this?
Actually, the community are the first. Number one, we know we are now in winter officially. So those that are smoking, they mustn't just throw cigarettes out of the window. They are the ones that causes the fire. And of course, fire brigade will play a primary role because they must come out and put out the fire. I think the challenge is people, they ignore a small fire, but that small fire can grow into a big fire. That is the challenge. But if all of us as a community can say and get involved, because the temptation to people is not to get involved and hope someone else will do. But sometimes your participation simply means a phone call to the fire brigade or to the police and say, we are observing this, can somebody intervene? That can help.
Kidnappings has dominated the headlines in as far as especially Lenasia is concerned in recent months. What has been the role of SAPS in some of the recent arrests that we have seen taking place in Lenasia in the last couple of months? There seems to be a perception in the community that it wasn't really SAPS in the forefront. It was security companies that are based outside of Lenasia that managed to get the intel, and they managed to work with more of the provincial and national structures that led to the arrest of the individuals concerned. Was SAPS at a Lenasia level, or at least at a district level, proactively involved in those arrests, in the issue of kidnapping?
Yeah, thank you very much. When it comes to the issue of kidnapping, we have various units in the South African Police Services. So there are those cases that are not investigated locally. And it's not the making of the police station, but it's because there are people, for example, some of these kidnappers are even international. So then it cannot be investigated locally. It had to be investigated at head office level. And that's why then you'll find head office coming. And it's not because the local are not. But there are other areas where the local police station is involved and arrests are being made. But yes, most of our investigations are done outside of Lenasia.
How much of a concern is it to you and to SAPS for Lenasia and surrounding areas that Lenasia seemingly has become a hotspot in as far as kidnappings are concerned? There have been a number of business people from this community that were kidnapped in recent months. One that was rescued, he was rescued from a house in Lenasia South where he was being held. Some of the suspects arrested were residing in Lenasia. So whilst I take your point that these may be national or international syndicates and therefore the national and the provincial or the national structures deal with these things, but from a land's perspective, how much of a concern is this to you that people here are getting kidnapped and then suspects from the same area are getting arrested, and it seems like the holding houses, if we can call it that, were also within our area?
Let me start by saying that this phenomenon of kidnapping, to be honest with you, is new in South Africa. We never had this thing before. I mean, you had kidnapping of somebody demanding 3,000 and they go to ShopRite. Those were the things that we're dealing with. This one that you're talking about is a new thing, it's a new trend that is emerging, is of a very, very, very serious concern to us. But as you might be aware, these are not Smolanyana people. So that's why we wish there was a way we can detect or prevent. I think community mobilization will work, but although I think it will also be a challenge to them because this is organized crime. And organized crime is not some street guy it's some guys that really do their homework. So it is of serious concern to me and to my team. We will definitely have to do up our game in this area, but it is a concern. There's no doubt about that.
Confidence in SAPS is obviously an important thing. The community needs to have confidence in the police. Related to this kidnapping and arrest, we know what has played out in terms of either members of the CPF directly being implicated or very close members of their families being implicated. And everyone subscribes to the principle of innocent until proven guilty. We know, though, that the laws of justice or the wheels of justice take some time to turn, and court proceedings can take months, if not years, if there's appeals and that kind of thing. So on the one level, I mean, the suspects or the accused, they are within their rights to say, listen, I'm innocent until proven guilty. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to step down from any position, albeit that I serve on the CPF. And SAPS can take a similar position and say, well, innocent until proven guilty. But how do we address the issue of confidence when it comes to the citizens who say, if people at that level are implicated, we have to assume them innocent until proven guilty. But surely something has got to happen in as far as addressing that issue of concern now and a lack of confidence.
We really, as a police and as a society, need public confidence because we are the ones that can assure people that they are and feel safe, and that is our responsibility. You're absolutely right. It's a difficult situation for us as the police because you sitting next to me, if somebody can just come up and say you are responsible, it will not be fair for me to arrest you willy-nilly because of people mentioning name dropping. So we need some evidence. It is a challenge, but we are working on it. As every information that we get, we investigate, and if we find something, we do arrest. So we would appeal to our community to say to them, we understand how they feel, but let them also understand that if the police can just be arresting people based on rumors, we'll again lose credibility also. So it's a fine line that we need to work on. We appeal to our community to work with us. We are on their side. We don't want any kidnapping into our communities, but let them bear with us. We think sooner rather than later we'll be able to round up those that are responsible for these kidnappings.
What do the rules say? As an example, if you were to be arrested on charges of whatever, kidnapping or anything else, or your son or your daughter were to be arrested, and you say, well, look, innocent until proven guilty, why must I step down from my position? Let the law take its course. But that could take a couple of years. On the other hand, people from the community say, no, but you're holding a very vital position. It's not an issue of confidence. It's not an issue of trust. You should step aside until the law takes its course. In terms of SAPS, is there any regulation in this regard? We see now in the political circles, the ANC, etc., they have certain regulations. Now, as soon as someone is charged, yes, innocent until proven guilty, but even if you're the SG of the party, you step down. Is there such a rule that will apply to SAPS members like yourself or even CPF members?
Yes, absolutely. If a police member is arrested for crime, for example, the first thing that we do is, if we have enough evidence, he's being suspended immediately with or without pay. And if need be, we have a process we call expeditious process. We can fire them immediately or as soon as it's possible. That we are doing. By the time the court's finalized, I think we are done, if there is sufficient evidence. So it's the same with CPF. If the person was arrested, definitely has to be moved from his position. There's no doubt about that one. So as soon as evidence is there that the police can act upon, yes, you will either, if you're a member, you'll be suspended and later dismissed if you are convicted. But if you're a CPF member, as far as the CPF is concerned, definitely you will be removed from your position because you have been arrested and charged. There's no doubt about that. We're not going to wait for the case to finish. That is for sure.
So would that apply only if the member himself or herself is arrested? If someone very close to them, living in the same house, son, daughter, if they arrested, they wouldn't have to be, the rules wouldn't demand of them to step down, even though the relationship is so close.
Yeah. Well, I think what will matter to investigation is the involvement of this person, not his relationship. Because remember, most parents, I'm just making an example, most parents don't want their children to be using drugs or whatever, but children go and do their thing. So if somebody close to you is involved in something, and then we cannot, as the police, arrest you just because you're related to someone. That's not how the law works.
So just to wrap things up, right? I understand there's a new station commander and in Lenasia, these issues that we've had to tackle in the past, now all these newer issues like kidnapping, etc. As the district commissioner, what's your vision? What do you think needs to happen now and is happening when it comes to SAPS Lenasia?
Thank you. I think what we want is the community to come closer. There are community structures in place in Lenasia. There are stakeholders engagement in Lenasia. Let us come together. Let us work together as a team. What we don't want is the police to work on alone because it will never be effective. We need the community. So we appeal to community structures out there that have information about crime. Let them come forward. Let's stamp out crime, including the kidnappings.
All right. Anything that you would like to add before we close, Major General?
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to say to our community, especially where people say they give us information, let's say, about drugs, and then they feel like that person, nothing is happening. Get the phone number of the station commander, follow up what happened. Like I said earlier, sometimes because of technicality, the person is released from court. It doesn't mean that the police collect something, but just because in technicality in court, the person was released. So I appeal to my community to really assist the community. We need you. We need you. You need us, so that all of us can be safe and everyone can feel safe.
Major General, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.